You know this is going on YouTube, right?
I don't give a fuck. They need to know y'all.
So why you say talking about people dying?
Comes back instantly. And then sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Y'all see it, man. The cop calling Crip Ceddy Nash has been hit with a civil complaint. This is actually a defamation lawsuit filed by Byron Blake in response to Ceddy Nash saying that the paperwork that Byron Blake released on him is fake. This is also a breach of contract lawsuit based on the fact that Ceddy Nash pretty much took to YouTube and stated that if anybody could produce paperwork on him making statements, he had 10,000. If people could produce that there was a phone call made to the police, he had 10,000. He also agreed to delete his YouTube channels if any of his story did not add up.
The car reverse, try to get the fuck out of there. It was stuck into something. I'm already knowing. Spot shot is there. I got 3-4 minutes.
Roll 20K in your channels. Ceddy responded and said, you ain't getting nothing. You ain't proved nothing. Let me know when you prove it. You got to prove I told them my brother shot at me. Basically tried to change the terms and say, hey, you got to prove that how they didn't get charged with a gun as well. But then just a few months ago in 2025, there are screenshots showing that Ceddy Nash was telling people that he actually challenged Byron to a bet and that Byron did not accept. So it's obvious that Ceddy is just trying to run game on everybody. He's saying to this guy, I accept your, he's saying, I challenge you. This guy accepts the challenge. Then he tries to change the terms. Then he goes to somebody else and said, yeah, I challenged him and he didn't accept. And it even goes so far as to say the paperwork is fake. As a result, Byron Blake has brought forth this civil complaint, basically saying that Ceddy Nash breached the terms of the agreement by not fulfilling his obligations and paying the $20,000, as well as deleting his YouTube channels. Also, once again, he's alleging defamation because Ceddy Nash has continued to state that the paperwork that Byron Blake put out in response to his challenge is fake. So if you read the statement of claim, you will see that, he pretty much lays out how the challenge was issued. He goes into how, under Missouri law, Byron is not required to contact Ceddy and say, hey, I accept your challenge. All he has to do is fulfill the obligations, perform the actions that were requested, which he did. But there's also those screenshots that show he contacted Ceddy formally and said, hey, I accept your challenge. Now, one could argue that Ceddy was just playing games and talking on the internet, but then he would have to explain being in other people's private DMs saying, hey, I challenged Byron Blake. And also saying, do you want to bet? He's asking this person, do you want to bet? Do you want to accept the challenge? So it's going to be hard to get around that, in my opinion. It's going to be hard to convince these people that you was just playing. And if you can't convince them of that, then you have to explain why you did not perform the duties required of you once the unilateral contract was fulfilled. Because that's what it's called. It's called a unilateral contract. Now, this is the complaint here. You see the factual allegations. You can actually find this on Pacer as well. For anybody who may be wanting to react to it, cover it, even if you want to just get a good look at it, all you have to do is go to pacer.gov and look it up. You can type in Cedric Adams. You can type in Byron Blake and choose the civil box. Make sure you choose civil. But yeah, this lays it out. As you can see, he's also being accused of fraudulent public enticement. Because if you had no intentions of honoring that, then that's exactly what it was. Y'all see right here, defamation. He's gone on several platforms claiming that the paperwork is fake. You know, and then he actually used the paperwork in one of his videos, and that's where the unjust enrichment comes from. As y'all can see, Byron Blake is asking for $100,000 or an amount to be determined in excess of $75,000 and for an injunction requiring Ceddy Nash to delete his YouTube channel. So if Byron Blake wins this lawsuit, not only will there be the financial aspect of it, but Ceddy Nash will also be required to delete all 3 of his YouTube channels. This is where it gets crazy because this is the exhibits. Byron Blake attached the exhibit, the Sacramento police report, because Ceddy Nash said that it was fake. So he's attaching it to show this is an official police report. I think that this will put to rest all of the speculation about whether or not this paperwork is fake. Ceddy will have his opportunity to say it's fake to the courts, and then they'll go through the process of proving it. He's also filed as an exhibit a copy of a request, and this request was related to Ceddy Nash providing a police interview. He requested video footage of that interview as well as a police incident summary of that interview. And that request was denied. And they stated the reason that request was denied is because the public interest in keeping it private outweighs the public interest in releasing it. So long story short, the public will do better not knowing about this. Records in which public interest in maintaining confidentiality outweigh the public interest in disclosing. So there you have it. The public benefits more from this statement not being released. So that means that there is a statement. Byron Blake also filed the city council report showing that the city of Sacramento did not get shot spotters until 2015. This is the city council meeting summary and the report. And it shows when they were requesting shot spotters and when the contract with the shot spotters would be up. They was getting them from 2015 to 2016 just to try it out. And then they would determine whether or not they would extend the contract, which they ultimately did. I think they still use shot spotters right now to this day. So as of now, it's probably been like 10 years they've been using shot spotters. But at the time of the incident, they did not have shot spotters. And the reason why that's so important is because Ceddy Nash said this.
Back of the car, and then I give him my insurance information. He disappeared. Police come up. Mind you, spot shotters there. Of course they coming. There is no phone call made from Ceddy Nash on that day. I got $10,000 for that. That's $20,000 if you can prove that. But here's what I want. Everybody who running saying I told, let's bet it. If I told anything, any of that shit I'm telling y'all ain't adding up, I'll delete my Instagram and all my YouTube channels. But y'all got to agree to do the same thing.
His exact words were, if any of this stuff I'm telling y'all is not adding up, I will delete my Instagram, YouTube, all of that. And so it's been proven, bro. Your story not adding up. You said that shot spotters called the police and they didn't even have shot spotters at that time. So right there, your story is blown up. Your story is blown up right there. So, yeah, man, I'm interested to see how this plays out. Ceddy obviously didn't want to comply with the demands in the demand letter. So we'll see how this goes. But y'all see it. February 17th, 2015, this is where they are even going in for the vote to determine whether or not they will get shot spotters. If you look at this document right here, it shows you that the incident that Ceddy and his brother were involved in happened almost a year before, actually over a year before. And so there's the answer to your questions about.
You know this is going on YouTube, right?
I don't give a fuck. They need to know y'all.
So why you think talking about people dying?